Apple has finally launched its new iPhone series, iPhone 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro and Pro Max. These iPhones will come in 4 different colors, including black titanium, white titanium, gold titanium and blue titanium. This time around, Apple was able to resolve the queries which its customers were demanding for so long. They have also made some minor edits in their AirPods as well as in their Apple Watch. You all must have seen the launch video of Apple, but in this video today, we'll try to understand the new features in order to draw an analogy with the company's performance and growth prospect provided China's ban on Apple products.
Of state agencies as well as state firms asking their employees not to bring their iPhones to work on national security grounds.
Hi everybody, my name is Satyam Srivastava. I'm a management consultant by profession, and on this channel we try to decipher complex technologies and issues into simpler bits. So let's start. So in order to decipher this entire situation, we will try to cover how these phones looks like, what features have they added, what materials are now being used in order to manufacture these iPhones. So I will start with Apple Watch. Now in Apple Watch, you can now control the features, the apps by tapping your fingers like this. It is cool, isn't it? This time around, Apple has introduced neural sensors in its watches, which senses the tap of your fingers. This feature will allow you to pick calls, play and pause musics, and so on and so forth. Other common features are like bigger battery, new S9 chip, advanced Siri functionality. Also, the peak screen brightness has now increased to 2000 nits, which is way higher than its previous versions. And now I will tell you the main upgrade with this watch version is completely carbon neutral. They have used 95% of recycled titanium for the body part, and they have also tried to remove the usage of leather. Further, to make the product more appealing, they have partnered with brands like Hermes and Nike. These are all updates which they have done in the Apple Watch. So now let's try to understand what all features they have added in their iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. This time have been loaded with very practical yet very fantastic features, which we as an iPhone user will leverage in our day-to-day life. The biggest change which is introduced is introduction of Type-C port. Yes, you heard it right, Type-C port, which was in demand for all the users of iPhone since way long. But is it done because the Apple's customers were demanding this? Or is it done under the influence of European Union's code decision, which has mandated Apple to kind of stop its monopoly from its charger and USB cable business? Prior to iPhone 15, iPhones were using a lightning port, which was slow in terms of charging, and also they couldn't accommodate data transfer from phone to computers. So this would eventually be more practical update for these phones when we have markets flooded with Android phone with such feature. Now they have also introduced a dynamic island, which used to be features of Pro series of their iPhones, into their iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus. These are very handful features when you're working on iPhone, as these help in live notifications. Apart from this, they have also added Super Retina XDR, which has eventually increased the brightness of the screen, but this phone still lags 120 Hz, which is a common feature in most of the Android phones. They have also added a ceramic sheet in the front side of the iPhone, and the back side is also processed, which gives a matte finish. Another big update I would say is camera upgrade. Now these phones are loaded with 48 megapixel of camera, with some features like pixel binning, which basically clubs 4 or 5 pixels in order to make one. In turn increases the image clarity. There is also an auto portrait mode. 2x zoom is also added. They have also added a voice cancellation feature, which basically removes the unwanted noise which you face while speaking over the phone. So net, there are no revolutionary change which have been introduced this time in these phones, but all the features which they have added are actually really very practical. Now I'll talk about 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. So the first change is obviously the introduction of Type-C port. Additionally, they have added a Thunderbolt, which is a feature of MacBook. Basically improves the charging time, as well as it allows a higher speed data transfer. Now this feature will also allow you to connect an external SSD and directly capture video onto that external drive. So while this might sound like an easy update, but it has lot of usability, I must say. Also, the outer body of these Pro iPhones have been completely changed. Now the bodies of these phones are made up of titanium, which is known for its strength and durability. They have used grade 5 alloy of titanium for these phones, which are known for its strength and durability, as well as these are lighter in weight. So that means these new iPhones will be lighter in weight. So net titanium would eventually improve the overall durability and strength, as well as it will bring down the weight of these iPhones. You can see the screen sizes of these iPhones on your screen, which is exactly the same as previous version. The biggest upgrade in these Pro iPhones, I would say, is the removal of this slide alert button, which have been a significant feature of all the iPhones which they have launched till iPhone 14 and 14 Pro series. And they have replaced this button with a new button which they are calling as action button. So this is a multi-purpose button, and task of which can be defined by you. Like if you want to open your camera using that button, or if you want to put your phone on silent, you can use that button for both of these purposes. Not only these two purposes, you can eventually use this button for multiple features which are displaying on the screen. Another big update which Apple has done with their iPhones, Pro series iPhones, is in terms of their performance. They have introduced a new chip which they called as A7 Pro chip, which comprises of 3 nanometer chip. So this basically promises strong performance with higher efficiency, and it is likely to be 10% faster than the previous version of these iPhones. These chips also use neural engines which are twice as fast as the other products. In order to support the gaming fraternity, Apple has introduced a new GPU in their chipset so that you can play games like Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil 4, and as well as GTA Vice City, which is a desktop featured game. So net you will get a 20% increase in the peak performance because of this GPU. Apart from this, Apple has also introduced a ray tracing phenomena which basically will enhance the display of your phone while you're playing a game. Now in terms of camera, they have also upgraded. Now this time around, iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max have 3 cameras on the back as like previous versions, but the features have changed a lot. Like they have introduced the 5x zoom as well as 40 megapixel sensors, which is now 25% larger and comes with sensor crop lossless zoom at 1.2x and 1.5x. These focal lengths are great and allow for some change. So if you want to know more about the camera upgrade done by Apple in their Pro phones, I will put the study material in the description below. You can read it from there, because the topic of this entire video is not talking about the launch event of Apple, but it is about drawing an analogy that how exactly this new launch is going to generate demand for us. So in order to draw that analogy, we also need to understand what are the price points at which these phones are launched. So if I talk about iPhone 15, I still think that phone is quite budget friendly because it costs 80,000 rupees. If you talk about iPhone 15 Plus, it is going to cost in India at around 90,000 rupees. But if you talk about iPhone 15 Pro, it will cost you 1,35,000, which is 5,000 above than 14 Pro prices. And if you talk about iPhone 15 Pro, it will cost you at around 1,60,000. And if you want to get the top of the line iPhone 15 Pro, which is of 1 TB storage, you'll have to shell out 2 lakh rupees in order to buy that. So I'm really excited how these iPhones are going to generate demand in the market, because that eventually will have a very positive or negative impact on the top line and the bottom line of Apple's revenue. Why I say so? Because China, as I said in the start of this video, China has imposed a ban on the Apple product, and that eventually caused a $200 billion of meltdown in Apple stock.
Their share prices have already fallen by almost 6% in 2 days. Almost $200 billion has been wiped out. $200 billion in 2 days tells you how big the Chinese market is.
Let's try to understand why this has happened. Amid the geopolitical tension and sanction imposed by the US on China, and in recent past, China retaliated to those sanctions in order to banning the iPhone sales in China.
Reports say China is cracking down on iPhones. First, they asked central government employees to not use Apple iPhones. China has more than 150,000 state-owned enterprises. Put together, they employ millions of people. Imagine all of them shifting away from the iPhone.
Now, if you look at the stats from few of the reports, which is not official by Apple, but these are the market analyst report, China's revenue for Apple sales contribute at around 19%, so which is a major dent for the company's revenue.
Apple does not release country-wise data for their sales, but most analysts quote the same number. They say China makes up around 19% of Apple sales.
So now you can relate and understand why $200 billion of market cap got wiped out in a day for Apple. because it largely contributes at around 20% of the total sales for Apple, and 20% is not less. So with all this happening with Apple, which is not proving to be a tailwind for the company, it will be great event to see how these products are going to shape up the demand in the market, because Apple products have been witnessing a sluggish demand over last few quarters.
There's bad news for Apple. Their flagship gadgets are not flying off the shelves like the iPhone or the iPad. iPhone sales were down 2%, iPad sales almost 20%, and the MacBook down 7%.
So it will be a really great event to see how exactly these new upgrades in their iPhones and their products are going to eventually increase their revenue, as well as make their foothold more stronger in the global economy, or vice versa. So whether or not Apple be able to cope up with the ban imposed by China, these products have some very practical features introduced in it, and I am really looking forward for this. For these products. So either ways, you all let me know which side of the story you are in. Are you really excited about this product? Do you think these are overhyped and overpriced, or you are sailing in a boat that you would want to buy it because this is a new iPhone? Because provided the comments which I'll get, I would again try to draw an analogy in terms of customer preferences, which would eventually lead out to a greater business impact and could be used to evaluate what customers are preferring right now. So that is going to be all from my side. If you really liked this video and if you have learned anything new, please don't forget to like and comment, and please don't mind subscribing this channel, because you would not want to miss any other important video which I'm going to update on this channel. Till we meet with the next interesting topic, hasta la vista.